The great filter. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know. I get it. But the great filter really comes down to because to explain it as easily as possible, there's so many different ways of finding deals out there. I mean, we're only going to go over like 20 or so during this whole course, but there's so many even apart from that. And each of those methods require a portion of money and or time. Okay, so you need to do an inquiry of how much money and time you have available to put into this. And maybe that's very little of each, or a lot of each, or maybe you have a ton of time but no money, or maybe you have some money but zero time to kind of put into this. So every way to find a discounted property requires some combination of that, and that's what the great filter is. And so the strategies that are involved that may just take a bunch of time but doesn't cost you anything, those are different strategies versus the other way around and all the stuff in between. So ask yourself, what where are you at? So just an example, a little bit of my journey. um when I first started working at Walmart, I didn't have a ton of extra cash to just expendable income, as they call it, to put into finding these off market properties, whether it's through ads, mailers, all that fun stuff. And so but I had a little bit of time, not much, but a little bit. And so I had to utilize my time as wisely as possible, until I eventually was able to quit Walmart. Then I didn't really have a lot of money either because all the money I was making was being turned into like living expenses at that point because I quit Walmart. So I had a lot of time but no money. So that's when I was like started to making 600 phone calls a day, and I put out hundreds of bandit signs, and so I was able to put a little money into this whole thing. And then I started putting mailers, and then I started making more money. Then I got into ads. I was at one point in time I was spending like $10,000 in a month in marketing, um, just in wholesaling, like just to find the deal. But I was putting the money in, but it bought me back my time, right? So at first I used all my time to get money, and then as I started getting money, then I used that money to buy back my time. And so there's not necessarily a wrong way of doing any of this stuff. It's whatever makes sense for you, and that's the cool part. So when you go into the education in the classroom, you'll see after the great filter. Will have time, money. So what you need to do is actually decide what is your scale as far as time and money. And let's and there's nothing wrong with any of this stuff, right? Let's put in a comment. Put your homework is put a comment in, or not comment, a post in the community, and of where you at, and what are two strategies you think you're going to start with. So go down, click on, and this, you're not going to be able to obviously go through the videos, or maybe you will, and decide which strategy you think that's going to be a good fit for you, and let's post it. So like, where are you at as far as the great filter, and what strategies that you think you're going to want to focus on, which would be very helpful for me when I'm doing the calls, because we can adjust things if everyone's on one spectrum, or everyone's like on, they have money but no time. We can adjust some of the live calls to fit accordingly. So it's helpful for me too, to provide you guys with the best experience. So that's the great filter, is the money slash time. So that's that's kind of how that works out. So uh, let's make sure, put in the comments, put in your questions in the community. Man, I'm not even used to this own platform on. Uh, put questions in the community, guys. Be active, and also talk to your battle buddy about what their filter is. Where are they at on that whole scale, and how this can work for them? Okay. All right. Love you guys.